Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, or some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag, today and coming back at you another Let's Play episode of In Case of Emergency, Wes's Path. So y'all, my partner is trying to sleep behind me, so I'm going to be keeping it down a little bit, so it's going to be a bit of a quieter video, but anyway y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up? I think you're up. One second y'all. Alarm Chan, are you up? And let's go. Okay. Alright. Holy shit, this place is incredible! Wes shrugs, picking up a crushed beer can from a couch and tossing it aside. This place is also a mess. Bottles of beer are scattered across the living room, drinks abandoned on the center table, throw pillows have been tossed haphazardly throughout the room, and empty takeout boxes are stacked against the windows. Thanks, the maid couldn't come in today. Did you just have a party or something? Apparently, I only caught the tail end of it. I was in Peregrine last night. When I came back, I was in the middle of this. Something crinkles under your foot. It's an empty condom wrapper. Empty condom wrapper? You feel your eyebrows shoot up your face. You try not to think about whatever he woke up in the middle of. Seems like it was a wild party. I wouldn't know. I was mostly helping people get home at that point. You really don't remember anything when you come back? What happens to the version of you that was partying? I don't know. I just know that I'm usually left to clean up the mess. His phone rings, the screen lighting up a pale square in his pants. Wes's face contorts into a grimace when he sees the caller. Sorry, I have to take this. Be right back. He leaves you standing in the middle of his trashed living room. You're trying to be tactful, but there's gotta be a way to find out if he's into guys, right? Are there any signs in his apartment? Signs? Yeah, you know, like photos of an ex. Maybe he's really into a female pop singer from the 70s and 80s. Maybe he's lonely and feels like he missed out on most formative adolescent experiences due to repressed sexuality and fills the void by waging his battle against body dysmorphia in the gym. Aren't these stereotypes? That you're reclaiming to get laid. Photos for pop culture consumption habits. You scan the room for photos. No luck. Have you ever met a college kid with framed photos of himself around the apartment? You don't see any shrines to the camp icons of the past, but it does look like there are decorative records hanging on the walls, mostly contemporary stuff. Look for signs of very specific psychological, possibly homosexual distress. Surprisingly, you find that it's difficult to draw conclusions about someone's psychological or sexual profile from a living room-based vantage point. It's much easier to instead imagine yourself as a guest at one of his parties. Maybe you're one of his rich friends, or rich jock friends, doing hard drugs and having group sex while complaining about your parents. It's hard to imagine what a guy like Wes gets out of LARPing in a basement. His day-to-day life is the stuff of most people's fantasies. Wes continues. Wes' voice comes from the kitchen. What do you mean, turn on the TV? If this is some kind of prank, I swear to God. Wes returns to the living room and squats to the floor, checking under the coffee table for something. You can see his quads flex under his sweatpants. Nice. He gently brushes you aside. Physical contact? Be still your beating heart, as he roots between the sofa cushions, pulling out a slender remote and pointing it towards the TV. The TV hisses to life, and the sound of flesh slapping flesh is immediately broadcast to the expensive room-wide sound system. Wow, that's definitely two dudes going at it on a huge flat screen. You don't think you've ever seen sex on the screen this big, nor did you think anyone actually paid for on-demand cable pornography. Turns out you can learn a lot about a person from their living room. Wes curses under his breath as he switches the channel. On a cooking channel, a woman violently lops off the head of a sausage with a huge cleaver, setting it aside by bowls of chopped peppers and onions. Yeesh, your risk of popping a boner is averted as your genitals attempt to climb back into your pelvis. Bits and pieces of conversation bleed out from the phone. Whoever's on the other end is shouting over the sounds of a party. Check the news, quick! Shirley, baby, not now. No, I don't love her more than you. Anna! There's a sound of water splashing and girls giggling. Someone pops a bottle in the distance and people cheer. You couldn't have waited to call me? No, I'm literally on the yacht right now, watching the TV through an open doorway. You're lucky I called you as quickly as I did. Hey, Rebecca, not there. Wes finally lands on the news channel. CEO of Lightfall Enterprises, Harold Wesley Bates Sr., announces the engagement between his son and the daughter of Corduroy Collins of the Adverse Corporation. The Adverse Corporation? Really? Anyway, y'all, 1 second. Water time. Bates denied any connections between this alliance and recent antitrust laws, insisting that this union was born from the purity of emotion. Wes abruptly turns off the television, knitting his eyebrows together in frustration. Did you know about this? Hey, blame Dad. I always do. He's the one who pulled the trigger. Shareholders are excited that, wow, Emily, is that a little spin for me? Great, fantastic. The stock's rising for the first time in a year. Uh-huh, I'm sure. Do people even believe what he's saying? Yeah, man, it's all being packaged as love is love. They hired some activist influence to promote it as freedom of marriage. Great. Thanks for letting me know. Don't call me again. Hey, Gina, can I... Oh, you're not... Angel, I'm so sorry. I would never mix up. There's a resounding crack through the phone line, the unmistakable sound of someone being slapped. Several people scream far away, sound muffled as though traveling through water. Then the line goes silent. Wes sighs, flippantly tossing his phone onto the cushioned couch. Want to go for a swim? I could use some fresh air. Who was that? My asshole brother, letting me know that the engagement is finally official. Whoa, 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 who's getting married? Actually, you have a pretty good guess, but you spent the last 5 minutes busy riding the high of finding gay porn in his apartment. I'm engaged. And there's the other shoe. You don't sound very excited about it. It's because I'm not. It's practically an arranged marriage between our families. The daughter of that guy? That's so medieval. Is that even allowed? It's just business. I'm not expected to actually love her or anything, which is a relief because she's not my type. What is your type? Nice, interesting, clumsy guys who ask too many questions. He smirks at you, making the fur on your arm stand in anticipation. Woof. Come on, talking about this stuff is bumming me out. Let's go for a fucking swim. Wes reaches around the hem of his shirt with 2 hands, pulling off the garment in a smooth, practiced motion. Oh, wow, okay, hello thumbnail. He shakes the fur around his neck out and rolls his shoulders backwards in small circles, his biceps flexing with the movement. Either he knows he's hot, or he's so unaware of it that he feels no shame at showing off his body like this. His hand hooks around the band of his sweats next. Ogle him. Be respectful. Ogle him like the piece of man meat he is, but in a respectful way. What's the healthy sexual expression of justification? You watch as Wes extracts himself from the legs of his pants, hopping on one foot as he pulls the other from the bottom hem. He crumples his clothes in his hands and tosses them over his shoulder without looking. He has a wrestler's build, stocky with a broad chest, thick thighs, and smooth transitions between the planes of his muscles. His tail traces a controlled, deliberate path in the air behind him as he pushes open the doors to the patio. There's serious strength beneath the layer of soft down. You watch the ripple of corded muscle under fur as he takes a practiced run and leap into the dark waters of the pool, sending up a splash of water that drenches the surrounding chairs. When he comes up for air, he flips the wet hair out of his eyes and wipes at the face with 2 large paws. He drifts silently for a moment, looking out over the city skyline below in a contemplative silence before calling for you. Come on, the water's fucking cold. Actually, y'all, let me, yeah. Alright. Oh, beautiful picture. Damn. That's great. He's got his arms crossed underwater. That's so silly. Alright, water time. And I'm going to go back and pick a different option. Can I? Yeah. Fuck it. You deserve this. He watches Wes extracts himself from the lake. Yeah, hell yeah, girl. Look at that body. Be respectful. You avert your eyes, staring instead at the blank television screen that's long gone dark. You can make out just a silhouette in the reflection as he shucks away off his pants, tossing them over his shoulder as he begins to walk towards the patio. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go with the one that we already did, so... Your next week flies by too quickly, or maybe it can't go fast enough. With preparations for the journey well underway, the path from your dorm to Redoubt Hall's faulty emergency exit becomes a well-trodden one. Every morning is the same, yet different from any other. Instead of your usual routine of waking up, it's still dark waking up while it's still dark outside, pulling the covers over your head and drifting in and out of your dreams until the sound of traffic becomes unbearable around 9 or 10 or whenever. And stumbling into the common room kitchen to stare at the rattling coffee machine until it delivers you from the melancholy of morning. You find yourself waking up at 7 a.m. sharp to the saccharine sound of your phone's default alarm. For once, it doesn't sound like the chorus of birds and harpists are mocking you. You're out the door and in the air-conditioned basement of the philosophy department before the summer heat can become muggy and oppressive. Sometimes you pass by Professor Abbott unlocking the door to his office, who seems unconcerned by the presence of an obnoxiously perky undergraduate in an academic building before 9. Your middle school counselor was right. You can be high on life. You hadn't even noticed the gloom and doubt until it was gone. Like tasting clear, cool water for the first time. You realize your whole life has just been a lukewarm replica of the real thing. Here's the real world, finally, after years of it being just out of your reach. Not only that, but it's been waiting for you the whole time. The thought makes you smile. You've been doing so well, in fact, that you haven't thought about your father in nearly a week. And as you make your way down the staircase, you continue not to think about him. The staircase is very, very long, but it's mercifully finite, and eventually it deposits you at the entrance to the castle hall. The staff rush to take your bag and guide you to the dining room. Most days there's a spread of food waiting for you, the table overflowing with flaky pastries. Some dusted with fine sugar, others with a tart glaze, piled on top of a ceramic plate, bowls of pitted nectarine halves and fat emerald grapes. Time. Yeah. Okay, still a bit more. And small glass jars of jam, pale butter, and honey, each with an engraved metal teaspoon set in its contents. Sometimes the others are already there, making conversation over their cups of tea as the sun streams in through the tall, rectangular windows. Wes rarely eats, though he shows up every morning at exactly 8, a small gym bag slung over his shoulder and his fur damp from the shower. When you ask him about it, he tells you, "Went to the gym, had a protein shake," which makes you all the more aware that what you've discovered is happiness, not discipline. Because while you're thrilled to wake up at 7 for scones and whipped cream, you can't imagine waking up earlier to pump iron and down a chalky mixture of whey and sucralose. It's not that bad. It's a habit from playing sports my whole life. What did you play? I did some wrestling, tennis, swimming, fencing. Football? No, a little bit of lacrosse and water polo, but those never stuck. Gather that he's not a team sport kind of guy. Remus and Cedric usually file in spoon afterwards, polite and thankful to the casual staff for the spread. Cedric always carried himself a little like he didn't quite belong, and the effect is all the more pronounced next to Remus's air of gravitas. Good morning. Help yourselves. Training today? Cedric coughs as he bites into his pastry, sending up a cloud of powdered sugar. Some of it lands on his nose. Yes, of course. We're working on parries. Luke is almost always the last to arrive, a wrinkled button-down tossed over his shirt as he rubs his bleary eyes in the doorway. Caffeine! Now! Second, y'all. Water time. He staggers zombie-like to the tea kettle and pours himself a cup, alternating between blowing away the steam, taking a sip, and quietly pronouncing, "Hot, hot, hot!" Man, I wish this place was in a different time zone that lined up with my sleep schedule. Then you just go to sleep later. Luke raises his eyebrows and bobs his head up and down in begrudging assent. The caffeine hasn't kicked in yet, making him uncharacteristically quiet. And so most of your days pass like this. In the mornings, Wes runs you through basic training drills and exercises, teaching you the bare essentials for wielding a pointy stick without hurting yourself. I'm a better player than a coach. But you have no complaints. More importantly, it's a good excuse for his hand to brush against yours, steadying your back and hips with his firm grip. He has to know what he's doing to you, especially after a close call sends the two of you tumbling into the training room sand pit, his thigh pressed against your crotch. Your breathing hitches as the blood in your body runs south, the smell of his sweet, woody shampoo mingling with the salt of your sweat. His well-built form hovers above yours for a moment too long, and his powerful thigh flexes against you as he rises. But then he casually dusts himself off and helps you to your feet. Ah, what a gentleman. Come on, big boy, let's try that again. Flirting never stops either, but for every smirk that cracks his usual blasé demeanor, there's a somberness that accompanies it. When he thinks no one is looking, he, unconsciously maybe, winds the ring around his finger, gazing anxiously at some point in the distance you can't see. The week of this song and dance, and you're not sure you've actually learned anything but the location of the closet room to run a cold bath and contemplate what the rules are for sex before marriage but after engagement. Afterwards, you spend a good hour or so pestering Luke in the library, who seems grateful for the distraction. It takes a minute to get through his deflections, but he finally reveals that he's been developing the magic for a kind of invulnerable shield. He insists that it's a fringe theory at best, and there's a genuine enthusiasm in how he talks about it. He keeps telling you there's a book out there that'll reveal how to go God mode. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!